Look like I've aged about 10 years since I last did a video. This is what allergies will do, ladies and gentlemen. If my dad had a younger brother, I could pass for my own uncle. Anyway, leafing through this enormous book, From Memphis to Taipei, Volume 1, shows just how much Elvis vinyl was available in Asia in the 60s, 70s and 80s. And it's prompted me to do a trilogy of videos on that very subject, Elvis's Asian vinyl. And I'm going to leave that book to last, to the third video, because that's really worth a video all of its own. It's a superb book. In the second video, I'm going to be comparing the Taiwanese versions of this album, Elvis's Golden Story. This is an original Japanese copy. So I'll be comparing the Taiwanese versions to the Japanese version. And I hope you watch that one, because I think I've found out something quite remarkable about the Taiwanese pressings. But in this first video, I'm just going to take you through my modest, very modest collection of Asian Elvis items. And when I say Asia, I mean anything except Japanese items. The first thing I want to show you is this cassette that I purchased recently in Japan on the Purina label, the world famous Purina label. And if you check this one on Discogs, you'll know that this is a bootleg release, a bootleg label. There is the cassette, and it's basically the Purina labels stuck on a Maxell cassette. I think it's just a bog standard C60 blank cassette. They've even managed to misspell Elvis's surname, 2 R's there. Let me show you the J card. The artwork is actually stuck on the yellow J card, as you can see if I just stick my finger under it there. And it tells you it is standard of quality with Dolby system. I'll put a scan of the track listings on screen, and if we just quickly go through those, side A is basically the Promised Land album. If you look at track 8, it seems to be an unfamiliar song. Familiar but unfamiliar at the same time. If You Talk About You, this is actually a mistake. It does include If You Talk in Your Sleep and Thinking About You. And the side concludes somewhat strangely with I Got Stung. On side B, you've got a odd selection of songs, mainly from the 1960s. And track 3 there, got What a Wonderful Fife, the unreleased Elvis song with flute solo, and another rarely heard song, track number 5, Come On Every Day. They are, of course, What a Wonderful Life and Come On Everybody. If anyone can explain the logic of side B to me, then please let me know. Although it's no more bizarre than many an LCA compilation released over the years. Speaking of Malaysia, I've also got this album here. Got a lot of living to do. What? It's made in America? Oh, it says made in Malaysia here. Must be Malaysian. Anybody who knows anything about bootlegs will of course know that this is not Malaysian. But anyway, back to some real Asian items. We have another cassette that came from an Asian country. I bought this in Tokyo a few years ago now, and for all the world it looks like an American cassette. But if you look on the artwork and on the cassette itself, it tells you that it was printed in Thailand. Onto a different country. I have a single with Blue Hawaii on one side and No More on the other side. Looking at the text on the label, it tells you that this was made in the Philippines. I think it's unofficial because the catalog number is the same as another legitimate RCA Victor release, 476114. There was a Japanese single released in 1962 with these same 2 tracks, so I'm guessing that this is perhaps a rip-off of the Japanese single. It looks fairly convincing with the silver text around the outside and the dog on top, but the text in the middle of the labels is all in gold. I actually added this one to the database, Discogs database, years and years ago, and there are still only 2 people that have it on, if you look on Discogs, and I'm one of those 2 people, so it's a really rare record. Don't know anything more about it than that. All right, so if we move on to the LPs, as I say, I'll talk about the Taiwanese albums in the next video. Okay, the first one I want to show you is this compilation from, excuse me, Korea. And that features a very striking front cover with Elvis in his little known mustache and braces phase. You don't see that picture too often. And on the back, you can see, who's that? It's Carole King. That's Joe Cocker. And there is the man himself, of course. This album has 2 tracks by Elvis, Life and Only Believe, which if you've seen my video on my favorite Elvis singles, you'll know that is my least favorite Elvis single. The record also contains songs by these artists here, Carole King, Joe Cocker, and of course James Taylor. One of the interesting things about the Asian vinyl releases, most of which tend to be unofficial, like this one here of course, is that they're on weird and wonderful labels, like this Domido label. If you look at the record itself, it doesn't fill you with confidence about the quality of the sound, and sure enough, it's not the greatest pressing in the world. It's listenable, but not great sound quality. That's, to me, what I kind of think of, what comes to mind when I think of Asian Elvis records. But in Korea, at least, they did start to release a visual product at some point in the 1980s, or maybe earlier. At any rate, this copy of Elvis's Golden Records dates from 1985, and this is a really well-made album. That's the familiar front cover, and there's the back. Not much to differentiate it from other countries, apart from the text at the bottom here where it reads, manufactured by Seoul Records Inc. Korea from master recordings of RCA, Ariola International, etc. And then a bit of Korean text here at the bottom as well. And the record comes in this nice inner sleeve with some Korean writing on it. The label appears nice and orange on screen, but in actual fact it's kind of somewhere between orange and tan. And it's the 50th anniversary edition, so this one probably dates from 85. And it also came with a nice insert as well, which has English lyrics on one side and Korean notes on the other. And this is not some cheap Japanese rip-off here. They've actually produced this one specifically. It's not a copy of a Japanese insert. And just finally, to finish, a couple of albums that I have actually featured before in other videos. This is a Hong Kong LP, 10 years after, commemorating the 10th anniversary of Elvis's death, released in 1987. And a decent collection of songs, 21 songs, dating from Heartbreak Hotel in 56 all the way through to My Way in 77. There is actually a blue vinyl version of that, which you can see in the book, which I've shown at the beginning of the video. This is the black label version. I believe it's a legitimate RCA release. And finally, this record here that I've also shown before. This one is Guitar Man from Malaysia. This one is genuinely from Malaysia, although the cover reads printed in Singapore on the back. And there are the labels. It sounds very good, this one. Excellent sound on that one. Okay, so short and sweet. I'll see you for, hopefully see you for the second video in the series, where we'll be looking at the Taiwanese versions of Elvis's Golden Story. Thanks for watching. Cheers.